Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The summy and peace out to the rest of you. Already know who it is and who it ain't. It ain't your boy and it is your man, the blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media, signing, blacking, and shining again, asking you to hit that mother cuss word share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So this one is about NBM and his upload from March the 7th. And I'm recording this now on April the 19th. It is April 19th where I am and where you are as I'm recording this. But it will probably be early part of the 20th by the time y'all get to hear this. He put the message up on March 7th, 2021. Mr. NBM astutely pointed out some things. In his video is regarding how people worship Mr. Samuels, and I would say that, you know what? Yeah, I guess maybe somebody somewhere does. He's certainly being praised at this point, and he's certainly going and experiencing a lot of appreciation as he goes from place to place. And that is because the red pill message has not been brought into mainstream media, and wherever it might have been, it was really demonized. And I'll be one of the first to say that I do appreciate him accidentally bringing the red pill message to the mainstream media. I stand by his message right now, his current message. And I do not stand by and still don't stand by his message previously. Now, some would say, well, Mr. Black Mind, you always try to be balanced. And if his message was true about what the men needed, then why wouldn't you stand by it? Well, the information about why the women would turn away certain men may have very well been valid, but he still validated their preferences. And I'm here to tell you that Western women's preferences are ucked fuck and are not respectable. They can have them, and they will, but they're not preferences that we men should respect. These are preferences for which we should actually look at them and write them off the same way we would a woman with Down syndrome. Because what they're looking for is not always natural. I mean, everything that's natural but benefits them, yeah, they still look for it. But things that are natural for them to look for that also benefit men, they decide not to look for anymore. Even if it's mutually beneficial, they start looking to not benefit. I mean, they stop looking for these things because there's a grudge, an underlying grudge and hostility in the Wicked Witch of the West. Such that if she can get things out of you, that's fine. But let's say she can't get something out of you, then she has a contempt for you and still just wants you to lose, even if she doesn't gain. That's why that lady recorded what she did about dating felons. She's perfectly fine with having somebody thrown in a county jail and getting raped, even though she gains nothing from his rape. It's simply the fact that he's a hetero man experiencing the complete opposite of this in a traumatic fashion that heals her heart. She said it. Now, we know many think this way. There is a contempt that they have. These things are the reasons I've said this is a war. This is not a conflict, just a conflict of interest, but a gender war. And he did not speak to these men back then as though they were at war with us. He spoke to these men back then as if to say, well, you should know that they lie about what they want and that what they really want is X, Y, and Z. You should know this. These are men that didn't know because, I mean, Mom Dukes didn't tell them. Auntie didn't tell them. Not only that, Mom Dukes wasn't just quiet about it, maybe, or Auntie or Grandmom or Big Sis, but they lied to him. These men were genuinely confused. I know because I can tell genuine confusion when I hear it, because I'm one of the multitudes of men, the majority of men that spent years being genuinely confused by Western women, especially the attractive ones. I'm one of the ones that noticed at a young age that the higher the chest to gut ratio they had, the worse their attitudes were right off the bat. Plain, flat out, from the less honest they were about what they wanted, more childish they were. Fact, Steph is cold. Shout out to him as well. Recently said that, yeah, you know what, black woman, you are driving your man away. It takes a certain umph to deal with you. What is the umph? That's not a word, that's a sound. And I'm not even blaming Mr. Clink Scales. The fact that we have to try to describe what it takes with a sound that doesn't have any clear-cut meaning like a regular word in the English language is by her design, not his. They're at war. They don't even want you to be able to explain how to succeed with them. The fact that a man has to go to another man to find out how to catch a heterosexual woman is because they're at war. You can't ask the women, they're going to lie. You got to ask the man and hope that he even knows. That's because they're at war. And Kevin did not address these men adequately as if they were at war. Now he's fixing this, Mr. CJNBM. How is he fixing it? He's now addressing the women and telling them, no, I understand you want a high value man. That's who I coach and counsel, but this is what they need. Man, why does he need you? You need a high value man, but does he need you? Why should he want you? Okay, you know what? These are the things that men are looking for. You need to be young, fit, feminine, submissive, attractive, fertile. Now, okay, ma'am, how old are you? What's your dress size? I don't need to hear about your degrees and your education. I don't need to hear about none of this stuff. These high value men don't need to hear about it, especially since you saying it ain't going to benefit him financially, no way, which is why you're looking for the high value man. So, okay, are you young enough? Is your dress size small enough? And do you not have kids? Oh, okay, so you older. You in the danger zone. In addition to that, you big and you got more baby daddies than you even got babies. You got 3 babies and 5 baby daddies. You done cheated on good men in the past. And the baby daddies cheated on you. You wouldn't have wanted them if they didn't. And now you sitting up here talking about with all this that a man has to have, and they only are a small percent of the population at best. Most women ain't gonna get them. And you come along with all these things a man don't want and none of what a man does and think you should get them anyway. He's now telling them. So you see, CJNBN, since you've recorded that message, a good bit more has happened. I mean, just in the last 24 hours for me, I've been hearing, well, a little bit more than that, but he had this upload. A live stream, I'm sorry. And the therapist called in and sidestepped the question. He had to keep interrupting her. It wasn't nice to interrupt, but he had to keep interrupting her to get her to give simple answers to a simple question. Do y'all act like our women? And then another one, 24 years old, came on talking about something. Well, we don't have a reason to act like your women. Build businesses with us. He brought up a very valid point. Y'all are the ones traumatizing us. And by the way, you know how to act at work and smile in that white man's face. So how come you got all this attitude when a black man asks you to smile? So this is what's going on since you put the video up, just within the last, I'd say about 30 hours, I'd say. And I mean, they're exposing so much. He's just picking all their BS apart. But here's the thing, though, CJNBN. You said that just like the black woman uses the black church as a drug to get through the upcoming week, the black man is now using Mr. Samuels, whose message you and I both endorse currently, as a shield and a drug. So that we don't have to get better and get back in the game. I submit to you, Mr. CJNBM, are you talking about that rigged game? Backed up by the culture and the legal system that allows them to do so much dirt and get away with it compared to what happens to us for far less? If we were to say to them, could you smile? And I'm not a proponent of men asking anybody to smile, especially women they don't know. But if we are to say to them, could you smile? We get all kind of attitude, but they have the right to walk up to us begging for money and begging for protection. Protect me, I'm being followed. Well, what the hell business is it of mine? You being followed and I don't know you. I couldn't ask you for a smile. I definitely can't ask you for your number or them drawers or your money. And that's fine. But in exchange, you get to come ask me, hell, to come up and impose on me protection. Look, they got men here where I live that will walk, they will actually avoid single women passing them by on the street. There's some men like that. You know why? Because women out here, when they're single and they ain't got nothing, they don't mind walking up to a man and asking, stopping men they don't know in a conservative region of the world like this one. Why would a woman walk up to a man on the street and stop this man when she does not know him? They're not related and ain't married. Why would they do it? To ask for money. And that's seen as being okay. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. Because it's not okay when a man stops a woman on the street for any reasons, even to ask for directions. If I were to stop a lady on the street and ask for directions and her son saw it, he could walk up and slug me. Even if I'm just asking for directions, the only way it's okay for another guy or I to approach a lady is if they've got a business booth set up and I'm going to buy something as a customer, or if I'm related to her closely or I'm married to her. I better not say a further-mucking thing to them other than that. And I'm okay with that. So why is it all right for them to walk up to me and ask me for money I got to earn? I can't even ask them to cook a pot of soup in exchange for it. And there are men here that say, man, shuck this fit. I'm a young cat, can't afford to get married, ain't never going to be able to afford to get married. But the women can walk up to me and ask me for money, even though I can't afford to get married. So you take, now that's here, where things are generally and comparatively speaking, relatively fair. Now look at where you live, where things are far worse for men. Are you seriously saying that men need to work on themselves for these basic broads and get back into a rigged game? I don't think y'all understand. The reason I have said to men, Mr. CJ NBM, that we're going to have to deprive them of the ding-a-ling and attention is because as long as we're making the ding-a-ling easy for them, they're going to sit up and say, well, we got the power, so we just going to eliminate most of them. Because we men carry a negative value right off the bat. Our value is negative, sexually and non-sexually, it's negative. So after you think about this, what do men need to work on? If we all worked on the same things, the women would just turn around and find another reason to eliminate. Because they're still being approached with their bad attitudes. They still have opportunities. If it's just for a hookup, they're still getting opportunities. How many opportunities do you get offered to you for a hookup? And don't lie, because most men don't get them. And that's the whole point of this. So since that is the case, we have to understand this is how they think. Their genitals are precious. Why do we act like ours aren't? Okay. Stop dropping it off for them when they're immature. When they act like kids. When you ask them about their selection in men, they say he just has that umph or some other sound that doesn't actually carry a meaning in any language. Because they don't, and they can't when they're young and will not when they're older tell the truth about what it is they want in the first further-mucking place. We all go to the gym, they just start demanding that we all look like The Rock. We all look like The Rock, then they start demanding that we all look like that Marvel superhero that's actually made out of rock. Then him, and men don't look like that. Before you know it, like I've said before, before you know it, we have to be able to fly and be bulletproof. And they just remain the regular lowest lames they are. That's what we're going towards. That's what it's already been. Mr. Samuels has already pointed out how rigged the game is, and that's exactly why men shouldn't be getting back in it. The solution is not for men to get back in the game. That still serves the interest of these ladies, sir. The solution is for men to not get back in this game and get passports. And I would say if a man cannot get a passport, then the solution for him is to stay by himself. He's been forced to live a celibate monk lifestyle. It's not natural. I don't endorse it for religious reasons, but I'm simply saying that's now a necessary evil imposed upon him by the environment if he can't get a passport and leave. That's the end of it. Because it's just that bad and that dangerous. And that approach that you modeled for us, saying that men need to get back to walking up and saying, excuse me, ma'am, I saw you from across the room. I think you're very attractive. My name is so-and-so. What's your name? Yeah, that is a very polite approach. But you know what? What you're saying is go ahead and take a risk. Men may have to take risk in life, I'm sure. Women have to as well. But you'll notice women will take every risk in life except that of rejection. And for men, that risk of rejection is actually a danger. Because you got a bunch of people that are willing to come and defend a woman even when a man's not bothering or threatening her. He's just making an approach. She's going to get an ego boost by rejecting the man. And if nobody hears it, then she needs to raise a voice so that she can now get the ego boost in front of others. Now she's even more dignified because she turned the man down and everyone saw it. Why should men make an approach in a rigged situation like this? Already he's undervalued, underappreciated. So he's supposed to go and work on himself so that he can walk up to a heterosexual woman who's lonely and have her get to sit back and scrutinize his approach. And then one or two things happens. And let's say that the other one happens and she does agree. Then chances are she's accepting a date for the free food. That's about a 33% chance of that. And then if he feeds her and she actually does want to continue seeing him, then they continue on and she does the usual crap testing and then asking, well, what are we? And then eventually, let's say that they do become a couple. Then they actually get married. So he has to make an approach for a deal this furthermucking bad and in an environment in which she does not have to be fit and feminine and cooperative and submissive, in which she is encouraged to be big, uncooperative, defiant, bring another man's kids to the table. Go ahead and marry him if there's something to get out of it. And then as soon as you qualify for alimony, if you ever can, you bounce. You certainly put him on child support for the other men's kids. Definitely do that. Because he got it like that. That's what's out there, man. It's so bad now that if a man actually walks up to a lady, and I know this, not even having lived in the West in the last 7 years, only having visited and having watched from abroad and listening to you all and watching you all, it's so bad that if a man does go and make an approach to a woman that's attractive enough to be approached, and she says, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and schedule that date. Then you already know she got somebody else's kids. You already know what it is. She agreed because she already got somebody else's kids. And now she wants you to play daddy. There's no reason for men to get back into some game over there where you live. It's rigged. It ain't fair to men. And gone is the day where we say, well, it's not fair, but life's not fair, and we're just going to suck it up. That day's over. We're now saying, no, shuck that fit. It's going to be fair, or we're going to make it fair, or they're going to have to find somebody else to dupe. And we're telling each other about it so that these broads can't find dudes to dupe. Go to that baby daddy to get the support. He got the pussy, raw. It's his baby. Go put him on support. Go back to him. You need someone now to live your life with, go back to him. Now you know your worth, go back to him. That's what we're doing now. We're ruining it as much as we can. We're spreading this as much as possible simply so that they can't find a man to take up all this slack anymore and become their post-whole phase retirement plan. We in it to win it because it is a war. And since it's going to be a war, we may not be fighting necessarily to win or to crush them like we hate them. That's not it. But we're going to fight to where we definitely don't lose. And the way that we don't lose is all of us know what it is so that nobody has to be the food. That's what that is. That's what we're here to do. So no, man, ain't no reason to go back into the game. No, bro, we here to change the game. We're here to get as good a situation for ourselves as possible and then bounce, leaving them with nothing except the ones they already pre-selected and whom they gave an easy time, or the ones they don't want because of the situations. Like the one that can't leave because he got a felony. We're going to leave them with nothing but that. We're here to leave them with not one option that they actually want because they pretty much looked at us and they said, if it's not a bad deal for you, we're not going to offer it. It could be a good deal for both of us. We still won't offer it because it has to be a bad deal for you, sir. That's what they collectively looked at us and said. And there's no motive for that except contempt and hatred. And that's why I said it's war. So we're going to win it. I'm going to say regarding this war, the same thing that Omar Mukhtar said to General Graziani. We win or we die. And that's it. So no, we're not getting back in this game. And I would suggest that you don't either. I don't know of any reason that you deserve, and granted, I don't know you, and you don't know me, but CJ NBM, I don't know of any reason that you deserve to have to play their game. I don't know of any reason that you deserve to even have to walk up and make an approach to one of them, considering the attitudes with which they're socialized and raised in the West. And I know it's not all, I get that, but the chances of you or me or any other guy meeting that one that's not like that and that's also attractive is slim to none, because the one that ain't like that and is also, even the one that's mildly attractive is taken at a young age, and ain't nobody letting them go, and why should they? So we're not going to meet them. It's not that they don't exist, but that we're not going to meet them. So what's out there is the problem. And we're here to make sure that it's the same thing in reverse now. What's left for them are the problem dudes, not us. No rescues. I hope I explained it well. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, black out. And black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it. And black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. No apologies.